Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Maria and I just got back from studying abroad in Madrid. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the logistics of my study abroad process, do's and don'ts, kind of advice that I would give, my experience with it all. So let's get started. I would like to preface this video by saying this is based solely on my experience at my university. This is by no means all-encompassing at all. I'm just talking about what I went through. So So I first want to talk about the application process and what made me decide on the program that I decided on. So I chose Madrid. I always knew that I wanted to study abroad in Madrid, so that was kind of a given. And it was just a matter of finding the right school in the city for me. And so I came across Nebrija University, which is where I ended up going. And a couple things that really stood out to me were they had a lot of classes taught in English, which is really important to me because I'm not a fluent Spanish speaker, so I knew that I would be taking a majority of my classes in English. So if the language barrier is something that you are worried about, there are more than enough schools that will offer classes in English. You just kind of have to look for it. So I took a lot of classes that were geared towards my major. Actually 3 out of the 5 classes that I took counted for credit towards my major, and an additional class that I took counted to a class for my minor in Spanish language. So over the past 5 months, I have taken European Community System, Spanish and EU Economy, as well as Spanish Foreign Policy, International Organizations, and the Spanish language. So when I applied to my study abroad program, I needed to decide whether I wanted to do direct enrollment or exchange enrollment. So the main difference between the two of them is direct enrollment means you're directly enrolled into the host university, and so you pay them the tuition money. Whereas exchange is you pay your home university, and in my case, a lot of my federal and home university scholarships applied, and so I weighed the difference in tuition, and with scholarships and everything, it came out to be the same just about, so I decided to do the exchange program. So I did exchange at Nebrija University. So my experience with Nebrija was 90% positive. There was a couple things that I wish that I just knew about prior to going. The first was the academics were really hard. Now, it's called study abroad, not have fun abroad. Like, it's supposed to be fun, but the reason why you're there is academics, which is obvious. I was expecting to do work. It's not like I was expecting to go there and just like not do anything for 6 months. But the academics were a lot harder. I was taking all of my classes for my major in English. I tried taking one in Spanish and I realized that my level of Spanish ability was not up to par. I could understand most of what the professor was saying, but I just could not participate. I was the only American in there. I was the only not native speaking student in that class. And so it was really intimidating, and honestly, the professor wasn't super encouraging. She kind of like nudged me to take the English version of the class, which I eventually switched to, thank God. But yeah, that was definitely not my finest hour for sure. Anyway, the academics were really hard. I was taking like 3rd and 4th year classes, like I was mentioning before, foreign policy, economics, it was kind of like a history class as well. And standard for university in Europe is a lot higher. Like a failing grade is a 5 out of 10, whereas in the United States it would be a 65 out of 100. It would be a failing grade, you know what I mean? So there is a little bit of a difference. Like if you get a 50 on the midterm, you're like, oh thank God, you know what I mean? And so I took a pretty hard blow to the ego when midterms came around, because I wasn't expecting them to be that hard. The professors, like, nobody told me that the academics were going to be that hard, and a lot of my peers felt the same, whether they went to the university for 4 years or they were doing an exchange program. Like, we all pretty much felt the same about it, and it was that this is really freaking hard. So if you are going into a program where you're taking classes for your major, don't expect them to be like the classes that you're taking in the United States. Unless you're going to like an Ivy League school, then maybe they would be equivalent, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I was not prepared for the amount of studying I would have to do for my exams and whatnot, which sounds dumb, but I wasn't not trying. I promise, I wasn't not trying. I was trying really hard, and I studied the same amount that I would have in the US taking classes here, and it just didn't translate. It wasn't enough, but we came back for finals. We pursued. It is possible. It is possible. You just have to try, like pretty hard, but it wasn't super bad. Another big difference between academics is I had a midterm, a final, and maybe a project. Like, your grade is based on 50% of my grade was my final in every single one of my classes except for the Spanish class. But like, that's wild. So just to give you like a idea of what I had to do throughout the semester. So for my economy class, I had to do 2 presentations, a really short paper, a midterm, and a final. My international organizations class, I had to do a midterm, a group project, a 5-page essay, and a final. For my European Community Systems class, get ready for it, no midterm, a 20-page paper. Right, a 20-page paper and final. However, I kind of killed both, so but those were literally the only 2 assignments. Spanish foreign policy, I had a project, like a group project, and a final. Spanish improvement course, which I took, that was kind of more similar to what you would find in an American university. The grade was split 33%. So a third of it was like participation, classwork, something else, I think, or like attendance. Another third was like classwork and the midterm, and then the other third was the final. So the final was a lot less weight than the rest of my classes that I took, and I had like not nightly, but like whenever we met for class, we would have homework assigned to us that night, so it was pretty frequent with homework, whereas my other classes, I barely had any work to do at all during the semester except when things were due, obviously. And so yeah. Hold on. So now we're going to talk about housing. So unlike the United States, in Madrid, a lot of schools don't have ample residence for their students, right? At Nebrija, we had 4 different residence halls, all of which were pretty small, and one was reserved for international students. And so on their website, you like ranked the housing in order of which one you wanted, and based on availability, you would get one, right? So I got nothing. There was no housing left. Thankfully, my host university gave a little presentation over Zoom for the international students about different resources that they offer both in the school, and they also partner with apartment finding websites, if you know what I mean. There are so many in Madrid, and it's so awesome because you have so many options. I personally used Aluni.net, right? So what's special about Aluni, not sponsored by the way. So what's special about Aluni is it's for undergrad and postgrad students looking for housing in Madrid. So the age range is 18 to 35, I believe, and you have to show a bunch of identification. You have to show proof that you're going to a university or you're in an internship or something of that sort that makes you eligible to get an apartment or a bedroom in an apartment from this website. They have a ton of different locations all over the city and for pretty reasonable prices. So I eventually decided on my apartment, and it was a 15-minute walk away from my university, which was so perfect. It was so nice to be so close, and like there was a train stop close to my house that would take me to a train stop even closer to the school, so I didn't even have to walk all the time. And yeah, and so basically with Aluni, you select gender, so apartments are like one gender only. So I was obviously in an all-girls apartment. I was apartment sharing with 5 other girls. One was from Belgium, 2 were from Sweden, and the other 2 were from Spain. The apartments come fully furnished. You just kind of have to buy your own bedding. That's it. Like, it comes with pots, pans, refrigerators, couch, living area, bathroom. I don't know why it wouldn't come with a kitchen. Anyway, but like a lot of things that you wouldn't find in a traditional apartment, you would find there because it's for students. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of money to be buying my own pan set right now. So yeah, Aluni was super helpful. They were really easy to communicate with. I think all of their staff is at least speak 2 languages, English and Spanish. The lady who is in charge of my flat spoke really great English. She was awesome, love her. It was a super easy process, so you just fill out everything online, you submit your documents online, you pay rent on their website. You get to see your roommates' profiles too. So you create a profile on your account and you like upload a picture of yourself and whatever. And you get to see, like, at first when you're just looking at apartments initially, it just shows you like where they're from and how old they are and what university they go to. And so yeah. But after that, once you like select that that's gonna be your apartment and pay your deposit and everything, you can see like what their pictures look like, what their names are, and this, that, and the other. So that was a really cool feature, so you could kind of like familiarize yourself. They also had so many pictures, and each apartment that they offer comes with a link to a YouTube video of a walkthrough of the apartment. So you really get like, you can you can see it really well. I would say the only thing is my room. So picture this, right? So my apartment building was connected to another apartment building, and it made a square. My room was here. The window is pointing to the middle. We were on the second floor. Not a lot of natural light was coming in. Not gonna lie. I was a little bit deprived of natural light in that room. But it was okay. It was fine. So let's talk about pricing. Earlier I said that they do have pretty affordable options. I had my own room for $600 a month. And less than $50 in utilities. Like, that's so wild. So I highly recommend Luni if you're looking for a place to live. I found that it was really like secure. So next is, obviously your American phone plan 80% of the time isn't gonna work in anywhere else, honestly. I would really recommend getting an eSIM. It allows you to keep your old phone number. You can still text people. I was still able to text my friends on my old phone number because I did have an international data plan on my US phone number. But the eSIM gave me a Spanish phone number, which came in super handy because for a bunch of stuff I didn't need to put in a Spanish phone number. And I think I paid for 6 months of a phone plan through the eSIM, and it was really easy to install. There is a caveat though, you do have to have your phone paid off first because your phone needs to be technically unlocked for you to add an eSIM. That is something I didn't know beforehand. I did have to pay off my phone to put the eSIM in. So just keep that in mind. I do have friends who didn't get a phone plan, and they kept their US phone plan and just added an international. They upgraded to an international whatever. Their data sucked. Not saying my data was great, but it was something, you know? I had friends because I don't think you can get unlimited international data, but you can with an eSIM. So my friends would run out of data, which is not safe. Get an eSIM. It's relatively affordable. It's easy, relatively speaking. Another thing is a bank account. Now, listen, I did get a bank account while I was there with Santander Bank. No, you cannot use, if you have a Santander account, you cannot use it over there. Different. It doesn't work. Different. This isn't necessary. It's not. I found it to be nice, though. I thought it was nice. It's definitely not a necessity, however. It was super easy to get one. They have a student account. That was pretty easy to do. I had to go in person because it wouldn't let me do it online for some reason. I just went in person, showed them my passport. They made an account for me. I downloaded the app on my phone. I could use Apple Pay. I could use all the fun stuff. And I was paying with euros, and I didn't have to use a credit card or anything. So that was nice, but again, not necessary. So yeah, I highly recommend that you do study abroad if that is something that is accessible to you. I know my home university does, like, you can go over winter break, you can go over summer vacation. Some of the professors will do, I forget exactly what they're called, but they'll do trips with, like, if you sign up for class, the whole class is just you going on a trip and doing the class somewhere else. So there's lots of different ways that you can do it if you don't want to spend a whole semester or a whole year. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this gave you something to think about, and I hope you consider studying abroad. If not now, someday. So that's gonna be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next one.